I want to talk about what this lock really means, and you may think that I'm going to go back to say monitor.enter, stall here, and we should put the try finally in there, but whatever. Monitor.exit, stall, which, yes, I mean, syntactic surely wise, that's what a lock does. But then what does monitor.enter do? Because if we enter the stall right here, then why are these other objects able to go into this object's methods? And the best explanation I can give you is that locking, when you say lock or monitor enter, I'm going to say lock from now on. When you lock on an object, you're not locking the object. In fact, it's actually quite sad and kind of pitiful, in my opinion, that it's implemented this way. What you're really locking on is a CLR resource called a synchronization block, right? And when your application starts up, you basically get these blocks. Here's a block, and here's a block, and there's some stuff going on in here, but we'll just say this is block 0, block 1, block 2, so on and so forth. You can have as many as you need. Obviously a resource, don't make too many of them. But basically when you lock on an object, it says, say, here's stall, okay? Stall, we put stall out on the heap. We called new on stall there, okay? So let's pretend that this circle represents our heap memory, right? And here's our bathroom stall, or our outhouse, if you would, taking up some room up on the heap. Well, part of this object that we don't see is an integer, and the integer is basically the number of the synchronization block that belongs to this object. Well, if you think about it, you've probably created several thousands of objects by now and have never, ever used a synchronization object with those objects. In fact, most objects that you create will not use the synchronization object. So to me, this extra integer they add to every single object just to keep track of which sync block it's associated to is a complete waste. I honestly feel it's too bad they implemented this way. But it's Microsoft, they're smart, whatever. But when you lock on an object, this integer will say, well, let's pick a free synchronization object. So let's say you get 0. That's a 0. Then let's say we have another bathroom stall out here, and we come around and we say, hey, lock on this guy. Let's lock him. Well, his synchronization number, 0 is taken up by this guy. I'll draw a little arrow there to say he's taking up that guy. So he's the second person, the second stall. Sorry. Is going to be a 1. All right, he grabs this one. So we have locks on this object, locked on that object. So what are we really locking? We're not locking the objects. We're using the objects as an indirect way to get to these synchronization structures out here, which actually are the things that prevent threads from going through or obtaining the baton, as I said in previous videos. I think it's sad. We should have. I think Microsoft should have made it so we access these things directly. We lock on these things directly. We don't go through some indirect object. Now, I'll admit it's kind of nice to be able to say lock the stall, and it kind of has this mental feel to me that I've locked the stall, but really I haven't locked the stall. All right, I've gone through the stall to grab one of these things, and when I say exit, when I say exit, well, that goes away. Then this goes back. I think it's -1. I don't know. They have some sentinel value that they store in here. We'll say it's -1. Why not? But that basically represents that this object is not associated with any of these synchronization blocks. So anyway, I hope that made sense. It really confused me why when I'd say lock on an object, other threads could get in if they didn't lock. But what's really going on is the lock has nothing to do with the actual object. It's just an indirect way. According to the book of Jamie, it's a hackish way of getting to these synchronization objects, which are the objects, the structures that the CLR actually uses to enforce mutual exclusion between all the threads. So anyway, that's what lock really means. There you go. Hopefully you're more educated.